I always bop during this.
That's a cool intro.
Hello and welcome to the HR Data Labs Brown Bag Lunch. I am your host, David Turetsky. It will just be myself and Chris Russell today. Hey, Chris, how are you?
What's up, LinkedIn Live? How's it going?
And the fact is, we're actually live this time because I have it over here. We're actually going okay. So technology this time, A+. It's actually working. Chris, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I run RegTech Media. My job basically is to inform the modern recruiter out there. So I kind of cover my niche is the recruiting technology space. So anything from ATSs to job boards to recruitment marketing tools. I kind of talk about those on my podcast and my blog and news sites and stuff. And I've been doing this for a long time. And the average piece of technology kind of goes over a lot of recruiters' heads. So I try to dumb it down for them and show them what's out there, what's possible with technology to hire talent. So,
do me a favor, Chris. Afterwards, in the commentary section of this LinkedIn Live podcast, put the links to your blog and your podcast so people know where to go to find it. Okay. I think that would really help them be able to understand, what it is else you talk about and how you talk about it to them.
Yep. Yeah, breaktechmedia.com for everything I do, but I'll put links in there for sure.
Please. So before we get started, what we always ask on our regular podcast, HR Data Labs, is one fun thing that no one knows about you. But we do it a little differently here on the Brown Bag Lunch. We want to know, what's the last thing you did for the first time?
What's the last thing I did for the first time?
And while you're thinking about that, this Brown Bag Lunch is sponsored by Salary.com, your source of technology, data, and consulting for HR.
Oh man, you put me on the spot here. I'm not good at this on the spot stuff.
Well, if you can't, then just give us one fun thing that no one knows about you. It's okay. I'm the only one who cares. Well, this is a good way of breaking the ice with people.
I don't know. It'll take me a while to think about that one thing. But fun thing about me, I'm wearing this electric e-bike shirt. So my side hobby is e-bike reviews on YouTube. So I'm a YouTuber. If you will. I have about 12,000 subscribers there on YouTube, and that's what I do on the weekends and on Fridays and stuff like that. I do e-bike reviews and put them out there for the YouTube world.
That's really pretty neat, and I'm going to have to look at that because I'm going to be moving in a little bit to New York, and I definitely want to be able to get a bike. Now, I still use my legs, but there'll be times, because I'm getting older, there'll be times I will definitely need the e-bike.
Yeah, and you can still get a workout too. They have things called torque sensors on the e-bike, and the more you pedal, the faster you go. So you should get a good workout on it. Channel's called Crisscrossed. If you guys want to check it out,
Crisscrossed, like the band. Mm-hmm. I don't actually have the sound of crisscross, although I think a lot of people in the audience who are older, like us, definitely remember crisscross.
To make it jump, right?
Exactly. There you go. Well, so let's move into our topic. So our topic for today is going to be the future of recruiting technology. And so, Chris, our first question is, and I'm sure everybody's got this on their mind, the job search process still kind of sucks. And many candidates really hate it. You've been in the business a long time. Why have we not made progress on this?
That's a great question, David. Something I always ask myself every year, every January 1st as the clock turns. And January, like the first month, Monday in January is like the start of the job hunting season, I call it. Yeah. And here we are again. We're a month in now. But it just seems like my daughter was job hunting recently. She's pulling her hair out. She's 21. So I'm like, get used to it, honey. It's tough out there. And I think that we've made some progress in some ways with technology, but it's also made it worse in many other ways. And also at the same time, I think some employers, not all, but they just don't care enough about that candidate experience. Yeah. And I really think that you need to, as a company, you should care about the candidate experience, give back, something as simple as like, like the rejection email, right? First of all, everyone should get one of those. And if you're not doing that, you're doing a disservice to them. That's why there's a resume black hole that exists out there. But give back, give them some resources to tap into. Or I got a client who gives their rejected seekers a coupon to go into their stores, things like that, simple things. It doesn't have to cost a lot of money either, right? You can really change that experience if you put your mind to it and just, take some time to care.
Well, we hear nightmare stories about people who've gone through the physical, actually physically going to 2 or 3 rounds of interviews at a company only to be ghosted afterwards, borrowing the currency term, or, never hearing back again. They're just ghosted. And that not only leads to a very big brand gap, or just a mess as far as how the person perceives them. But then they get, Yelp or LinkedIn or Facebook or on social media, and then the company gets pretty bashed up, or Glassdoor even, for that kind of a situation. Yeah.
Yeah, you see a lot of that in Glassdoor, on those complaints. And it's usually, the bad reviews always go on Glassdoor versus the good ones sometimes.
And now we're going to be in a situation where we're going to have a lot of people looking for roles. I mean, there are going to be a ton of people out of work from the government. There's a ton of people that are going to be out of work with all the layoffs that are happening, especially with performance. We just saw Meta clip a whole bunch of people from
another 10%
quote
or
unquote
something.
Performance. Yeah. And Citgo just, I think, announced today that they were laying off a bunch of people. So there's a lot of companies that are going to be out of work. And what's your advice to them? Is it the same as you'd give to your daughter?
That's a great question. First of all, it's possible we've seen peak staffing, at least for the next few years. Online, I follow the online job posting stats. LinkUp just had some out, and it's going down the last 2 years. So the number of online job postings has gone down in 2023 and 2024, which begs the question, okay, have we seen peak staffing overall? We may have, right?
Hey, it's Libby DeLucian. If you're sick of business advice that sounds cute, but doesn't actually move the needle forward, this one's for you. The Libby DeLucian podcast is where we go one layer deep. No gurus, no glitter, just straight up unfiltered talk about scaling a business, running a household, and holding on to your sanity in the middle of the chaos. If you're the bottleneck in your business or in your own life, I'll show you how to fix it. Simple, tactical, and one layer deep every time. Let's go. Visit libbyd.com and check out our podcast today.
Perhaps, AI will revolutionize things one day and we'll get a bunch more new jobs, but that's TBD, right? It's a tough, my daughter, I tell her, I company hunt. She's about to graduate actually. So, in May. And she's in the communication/journalism area.
Okay.
She also does some photography. So I'm going to basically come up with a job search plan for her. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to say, okay, let's figure out where you can work in the area. I'm going to have her company hunt. I'm going to make a list of all those companies for her or help her do that. And show all the different niche job boards out there, associations she can try to leverage some careers or opportunities there, and just put together a bit of a plan, a niche plan for her around that.
Right.
And to me, a quick job hunting story with pre-internet days when I was job hunting, I created something called a personal marketing newsletter. And I wrote about it in a book I wrote about 20 years ago.
Wow.
Instead of a resume, I created this, it looks like a newsletter. It was like 3 columns and who, what, and why I was. And I wanted to work in the marketing field. So I sent out, I created letters, physical letters. I mailed them out to about 80 different marketing consulting companies in the Southern Connecticut area. And out of that, I got I think I had 11 interviews. I got 3 job offers.
That's amazing. That's a great response rate.
Yeah, that's why I say get company. I sent them all to the presidents of the company or whatever, and I just try to stand out. And that's to me, that's what you got to do. You got to stand out in the job market today, because it's a numbers game for a lot of people out there. They're just bombarding resumes everywhere. So how do you stand out from that? You need to know somebody, or do something different to rise above that job search noise.
So your advice is stay away from the AI, sensibly. Go to where the people are first, which
Yeah.
is, if you're sending a physical letter
Yep.
with some kind of really cool thing.
Another great example. So my daughter, I went to a hockey game last week, a couple weeks ago, and here in Connecticut at the Bridgeport Islanders, which is an AHL team. And I saw on the screen where they made an announcement about they're going to have a job shadow day.
Oh, that's cool.
Okay, so so I told my daughter that. She applied. She's going next week. They're going to do a full day of for the content creation team there. She's going to shadow them, and then she'll go to a game the following few days and see how they put it into place. So that's a
really
great
cool.
example of, it's just some volunteer time, and she goes in there and learns, and maybe she'll meet a connection there, network and that kind of stuff. So
She couldn't go to the Wolfpack in Hartford because that's a Rangers affiliate.
we're close to the Bridgeport that team there.
Sorry, I had to give you crap because I'm a Rangers fan.
I wish it was the Whalers, but
Oh, well, yeah. Well, a lot of people wish the Whalers were back from the Hurricanes in Colorado. Carolina.
One of the best logo or uniforms in
Yes.
sports history.
Yes, it was.
The whale.
Very nostalgic about that. Let's move on, though, because question 2 kind of is analogous to what we were just talking about, which is how is AI negatively affecting the applying process? Because candidates are bombarding ATSs. How employers deal with that?
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, our applications are up. Appcast just released their recruiting marketing report, and its applications are now at 6.1%, which is up from 4.2 or something like that. Overall for job listings. So you're getting more stuff into the funnel, and it's harder for recruiting teams to just sort through
Parse through it, yeah.
And it's tough. If you can get 1,000 resumes for a listing. How do you, as a team, how do you sort through that? You need to have some kind of filters in there, and so I'm hopeful that AI can solve some of this in the long run here. Yeah,
but AI. What we've dealt with AI is you submit your resume and then 5 seconds later it's rejected with a templated email that says, "Hello, brackets job candidate. Here at Bracket Company, we appreciate you putting in your resume. However, we've chosen to go with stronger candidates." Wait a minute. It's literally 5 seconds later, and all of a sudden...
They need to put a 3-hour time thing on that thing.
Maybe. But even so, I've literally run across situations where the company hasn't fixed their template, and it's literally the out-of-the-box template, and it has holes in it, which is just infuriating.
80% of the rejection letters are all templated. That you just change the tone. The wording in that, it matters. You can make it sound nice and let them off easy. Versus just that standard boilerplate thing that sounds like a robot wrote it,
And it did. It really did. But the problem is, so there's 2 problems. One, there's the candidate side of AI in the application process, and then there's the employer side. So what you're saying is that because employers are being bombarded more so now than ever by the numbers of applications, some which are really good and some which are, why did you bother sending your resume in? How did they parse through it? So what's the answer? Because AI is being a gatekeeper and putting a major filter. It seems like almost a nano filter on the candidates that actually get through to the interview process.
Yeah, I think you have to have some kind of scoring in there for the candidates on the ATS side. But then again, if the candidates are all using the same ChatGPT to do the resume, all the resumes sound the same, I think you're going to have another layer of almost like interviewing in there. I got a shout out to people over at upwage.com. They have this AI interview tool. It's an agentic that will actually do a behavioral interview through AI. And that will really you could put that into a bunch of resumes like that, and that'll help sort through it more, get more detailed answers in there. So I think we need to have more. There might be more screening processes in place here for all these candidates. That's how I'm thinking it's going to happen.
But that also helps for the candidate experience as well, because they're getting some interaction from the company.
Imagine if you could apply tomorrow and get an interview right away, with an AI bot, right? That's at the very least that's going to help you break down the ghosting and the candidate experience, right? If you can get an immediate interview through AI, I'd rather do that and have to wait 2 or 3 weeks for a human to actually get in there.
Right.
Like, give me a chance to get in there and show my stuff,
And while you're showing your stuff, they're asking you appropriate questions. They're asking you probably skill-based questions,
Yep.
which potentially could lead to having those people who have shitty or sorry about that, terrible interviewing skills, but really good. And I probably take it back. They also have good interviewing skills, but they have terrible resume writing skills, the ability to actually get to the next level.
Yeah.
And then shine during the interview because they actually know what they're talking about.
Yeah. Most people suck at interviews anyway. So
Yeah.
I'd rather do it through a bot first and, make it made easier.
Well, if not easier, at least what it's doing is to going back to the beginning, it's getting that interaction
Yes,
that
and that's
gets
the
you
important
beyond.
part, right?
Yeah.
You don't want that candidate to wait too long.
Yeah.
Particularly in the high volume space, right, where you have to hire quickly. And I think that AI is going to play a part in that role in the next. I think that in 10 years, every company is going to have an AI recruiter agent that basically does all that screening and initial interviewing up front, and it's going to make their jobs a lot more efficient. And I think the virtual recruiter is coming, and it's going to be here sooner than you think.
Are the current instances of this virtual recruiter, are they visual or are they more text-based?
I think it's going to be text. It's going to be voice as well. There's a couple companies like Sense and TalkPush. They have these AI-based voice recruiters that will interview whenever you want. They'll call you up. I've taken these. I've done a couple of demos with them. They call me up with this recruiter voice and interview me on the spot. And it was pretty cool. I mean, and it was just beginning, but it's going to get better every year. And one day it's not going to be able to tell if it's an actual person behind that call.
What would be really cool, and I'm probably moving ahead a little bit, but what would be really cool is if that recruiter was able to actually give you feedback as to how you did and be able to potentially help you for your next interview,
Absolutely.
whether it's with that company or not, because it's hearing a lot from your voice. It can infer a lot from your voice and from the answers you gave as to not only are you the right fit for this company, but what do you need to fix? And it really wouldn't cost the company anything for that.
Yeah, imagine giving that, even if you don't hire the candidate, imagine giving them a little report on how they could improve themselves in the interview, right? That's an excellent piece of a data to take away, and you're actually giving something back to the candidate.
Exactly.
Instead of just rejecting them outright.
So before I move on to the next question, I got to ask you, is that really the end of it for AI in ATS? Is it really the candidate experience is kind of the major piece here? Or are there other areas or other ways that AI could be used in the recruiting world? Whether it's finding new sources of candidates, whether it's finding, more appropriate sources or other ways of being able to help the company be able to recruit better?
I could see AI being, agents that go out there and source for you, like taking an agent and giving a job description, say, go find me candidates and engage with them. Like send them an initial outreach, whether it's through LinkedIn or a text or an email, and gauge their interest, right? I could see AI being used for that. And then, I think AI also is going to be baked into a lot of things in ATS. There's an old saying called, when the internet came out, it was called, the internet is going away like the phone went away, becoming invisible, or in the process becoming invisible. Things like, and that's what AI is going to do too. You're not going to notice it anymore. It's going to be baked into every function in that ATS, and it's going to help you do your job better, help you write things. So it's going to be, pervasive everywhere inside the software.
Have you ever thought about potentially having AI agents going back out to alumni to ask whether they're happy where they are for a boomerang type perspective or for sourcing perspectives?
Yeah, imagine there's no boomerang thing. Hiring boomerangs is a thing. If you could keep that list handy and have your AI agent touch them once a year, see how they're doing. I mean, it's a great idea.
All right. Well, I patented that just now as I said it on this podcast. So all of you stay away from that. Just kidding. So let's transition to the last question, which will really kind of, I think, stir a lot of conversation, which is, what's one cool tool or feature that you've seen it will become commonplace in the future?
I'm going to go back to the voice thing. Google, maybe like 5 years ago, came out with this voice tech where, I don't know if you remember this, but they called a hair salon and made an appointment using voice AI. And as soon as I heard that, I was like, okay, who's going to be the first company that create that first recruiter voice that does that? So I'm really excited about that. I want to see that. And that could take, I think the voice piece of this is really interesting from recruiting, because right now we're all chat and text based and email, but voice is the one thing that really hasn't come into recruiting yet from an AI standpoint. And I do think that's going to be a big piece of the future, in 3 to 5 years or so.
But Chris, what are the things that one of the things that I think get in the way of that is dialect understanding. You basically have to ask up front, do you speak English? Can you understand me? And that then when you get to that
I can translate it.
Well, yeah, exactly. But that sets it up as I'm talking to a machine now. Whereas what you're talking about is transparency, right? The person gets called, they don't know it's an AI. They're talking and interacting with an AI as if they're talking to a human. And in the conversations, we don't start off by going, hey, Chris, what language do you speak? I will translate myself to make sure that you can understand me.
Yeah, I think, first of all, if you already use an AI voice recruiter, you got to tell the candidate that it is a robot, right? You have to state that up front. That's part of it should be the part of the candidate bill of rights there. They need to know they're talking to a robot. And I think that's going to be...
Well, typically comes pretty evident right away when there's that one interaction that's kind of like awkward. Like, I said I want to meet tomorrow. Oh, well, do you mean March 25th? No, tomorrow, February 15th. Oh, okay, you meant February 15th. No human says things like that.
It's crazy, man. I think it's coming. I think we're almost there.
So what you're saying is that AI interaction and that voice response system will really be kind of that next layer for recruiters.
Yeah.
So recruiters could spend their time managing the process more strategically and probably helping with downstream manager issues and whatnot.
Yeah.
And allowing the artificial intelligence to do a lot of the work that they've been...
Maybe the recruiter is the second call, not the first call anymore, just thinking ahead here. In that process. So that will allow them to do more of those second calls with higher value candidates than they could have done before that. So it's going to make their jobs more efficient that way, and they can do a little more with less.
And we're doing it at scale too. So we're going to need less recruiters potentially.
Yeah.
Because if the AI is doing a lot of that heavy lifting and they're only having to do the follow-ups or even the last round, then that's really kind of minimizing or mitigating a lot of what they were responsible for. Yeah.
But there's still a risk here too, like for the candidates, we are moving this way to an automated, voice AI, environment here. Candidates are going to have to get used to that. Not all of them are going to like it. But it is the future is coming, So I think we have to, as organizations, have to think about that process and be upfront and transparent and make sure that AI is really taking care of that candidate from step one to the end. And, finally making a push here to end the resume black hole, which I think AI can do.
Do you think there's a generational component with being able to deal with artificial intelligence? Is there a cultural divide? Do you think that there'll be more resistance for older folks like me, or you know?
For sure. Yeah, it's definitely a part of it, I think. And but I do think I've seen a couple studies where candidates want to, they said they wanted to anyway, use chat or whatever before talking to a human first. So I think the next generation of workers is going to be much more used to that.
What about the other issues around being able to get past discrimination testing, where the AI has problems with potential dialects or has potentially issues with being able to choose the right people to put in the slate? And by right people, I mean, people with the appropriate skills and not get into bias or ageism.
Yeah, I think you're going to see a lot of the softwares, like there's a bunch of like certifications and things you can do to your AI to make sure it's compliant. There's going to be some laws written as well. So I think like Upwage has they're certified in a bunch of different areas around AI ethics and things like that. So we're going to have more of that regulatory kind of framework in there, I think, for some of these softwares to do. But it's going to be kind of messy in the initial beginnings here, I think, because the laws haven't caught up with AI yet and all that stuff. So,
do you think? I mean, it's certainly not going to come from the federal government. These laws are going to be kind of piecemeal around the states, and that causes a potential issue where you're going to have to configure probably to the highest common denominator. What's the hardest rules to pass? Because otherwise, organizations are going to be scrambling to figure out how do I comply in all the different states that have all those rules.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it could become a regulatory nightmare, but we'll see.
Is there any fallback or pushback from the configuration that Workday had to deal with, or the lawsuits that Workday had to deal with, where the and again, I'm not the expert on the details of that lawsuit, but it was really about AI and the gatekeeping that the AI was doing for resumes.
No, I didn't see that. There was the Amazon AI store where they basically were using AI a couple of years ago, and then they stopped using it because it was too biased, I guess. I heard that. So I didn't hear the Workday one though. What
I'll do is I'll put a link to it in the comments. By the way, Jack Copeman is listening to us now, so we have to really get on track and make sure that we're as accurate as we possibly can.
Shout out to Jack.
Yeah, Jack and his folks at Great People. So to kind of round it out, Chris, we've been talking a lot about AI and the future of recruiting technology. What else can we look forward to beyond just AI? What else can we look forward to in the world of recruiting technology? Or is it really just AI right now?
I think it is. It's primarily AI. I think, you're seeing a lot of recruiters look for work today. Have we seen peak recruiter staffing? I floated that idea a few times, which is, not great for some of the recruiters out there. And I do a lot of work also with niche job boards. So I'm always talking to them and helping them build niche communities of people. I think you're going to see more of that. Stuff like the Indeeds of the world have taken a big hit the last couple of years because of the hiring environment. So we may have seen peak Indeed out there as far as their reach, but we'll see. I think right now it's a very uncertain environment. Like I don't expect hiring to be that strong this year. You're seeing some layoffs already now.
Yep.
So it's gonna another year to just hang on and see what happens.
Well, hopefully everybody's hanging on because as you mentioned, this is going to be a really tough job market, and wish everybody the best out there because it is not going to be fun. So, Chris, thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate you being on the Brown Bag Lunch.
Looking for great time, David, and definitely happy to come back anytime.
Yeah, we'd love to have you back. And maybe if there's another topic that is near and dear to your heart or other people out there, especially around recruiting, they'll let us know. But again, thank you very much. Thank you all for joining us, and take care and stay safe.
Good night, everybody.